Elena looked out the window of her hotel room. The sun was shining. Cars were moving on the road. People were walking on the sidewalk. She smiled. It was her first day in the United States. She had dreamed about this moment for a long time. Elena came from another country. She had studied English for many months. She listened to English songs. She watched movies with English subtitles. She practiced speaking alone in her room. She repeated words again and again. Today, she would finally use her English in real life. Her American friend, Sarah, was waiting for her in the hotel lobby. They had talked online for 1 year. Now they were meeting for the first time. Sarah was friendly and full of energy. "Good morning, Elena," Sarah said with a big smile. "Are you ready for your first American adventure?" Elena nodded. "Yes, I am ready. I feel excited and a little nervous." "Don't worry," Sarah said. "We will have fun today. I'm taking you to the mall. You need a welcome gift." "A gift?" Elena asked. "Yes, I want to buy you something. You can choose anything you like." Elena smiled. She was happy and thankful. "That is so kind. Thank you, Sarah." They left the hotel together. The streets were big and full of people. Elena looked around. She saw signs in English. She saw yellow school buses and fast food restaurants. Everything felt new and different, but also fun and interesting. Inside her small purse, Elena carried a notebook. It was her English journal. Every day, she wrote down one new English word. That day, she wrote the word explore. She drew a small star next to it. At the mall, Elena saw many shops. There were clothes, shoes, books, and food. The mall was big and bright. There was music playing. Children were laughing. People were talking in English. Elena listened carefully. She wanted to learn more. "This is your day," Sarah said. "Let's go into this store. You can pick anything you like." Elena walked into the clothing store. There were dresses, pants, shirts, and jackets. There were many colors: red, blue, black, and green. Some clothes were short, some were long. Elena touched a soft sweater. It felt warm and nice. A salesperson smiled and said, "Welcome. Can I help you?" Elena looked at Sarah. Sarah gave her a small nod. Elena took a deep breath. She smiled and said, "Yes, I want to buy a dress, a red one." "Great," said the salesperson. "What size do you wear?" Elena answered quickly, "Medium." "Perfect. Come with me. I'll show you some red dresses." Elena followed her. Sarah stayed close. Elena felt proud. She had spoken English. The salesperson understood her. She understood the question. She gave the right answer. She turned to Sarah and whispered, "I did it." Sarah gave her a thumbs up. "You're doing great!" Elena picked up a red dress. It was pretty. The fabric was light and soft. She wanted to try it on. She felt a little nervous. What if she said something wrong? What if people laughed? But she told herself, "It's okay. I am learning. I am brave." She walked toward the salesperson again. She was ready to speak. She was ready to try. This was only the beginning. Elena didn't know what would happen next, but she knew one thing. She was not afraid to speak anymore. This was her journey, her first real day using English, and she was going to enjoy every moment. Elena stood in front of the mirror. She held a red dress in her hands. It was beautiful. She liked the color. She liked how soft the fabric felt. She looked at Sarah and smiled. "I think I like this one," she said. "Try it on," Sarah replied. "Let's see how it looks." Elena nodded. She wanted to ask the salesperson for help. She walked up to her with the dress in her hands. She felt a little nervous, but also proud. She had spoken English well so far. She smiled at the salesperson and said, "Can I taste this on?" The salesperson stopped moving. Her smile froze. Sarah stared for a second. Then she started to laugh. Loud, happy laughter filled the store. The salesperson laughed too. Elena looked at both of them. She didn't understand what was funny. "What? What happened?" Elena asked. Sarah tried to speak while laughing. "Elena, you said, 'Can I taste this on?'" Elena's eyes grew wide. "No! Did I really say that?" "Yes," Sarah said, still laughing. "You asked if you could taste the dress." The salesperson giggled. "I don't think it's very tasty," she said kindly. Elena covered her face with her hands. Her cheeks were hot. She felt embarrassed. "Oh no, I didn't mean that. I meant try. Can I try this on?" "Yes, of course," the salesperson said. "No worries at all. It was cute." Elena laughed a little too, but her face was still red. "This is so embarrassing." Sarah smiled and touched her arm. "Don't worry. Everyone makes mistakes. This one is funny. You'll never forget how to say try on again." Elena nodded. She looked down at the dress. Then she smiled too. "You're right. I will remember this forever." She walked to the fitting room and went inside. She looked at herself in the mirror. The dress fit perfectly. It looked good on her. She turned around slowly and smiled. She was happy. She remembered what had just happened. She laughed again, but this time with joy. It was a funny mistake, but it helped her learn something important. She pulled out her English journal from her bag. She opened to a new page. At the top, she wrote, "Try on." Below that, she wrote, "Not taste." Then she drew a small dress and a smiling face. She stepped out of the fitting room. Sarah clapped her hands. "Wow, you look amazing!" "Really?" Elena asked. "Really?" The salesperson added, "That's a good choice." Elena felt better now. She wasn't thinking about the mistake anymore. She was enjoying the moment. She was proud of herself for speaking English, even with small errors. They walked to the counter. Elena gave the dress to the cashier. She took out her card and said, "I'll pay with card, please." The cashier smiled and took the card. Then she looked up and said, "Are you sure you don't want to taste another dress?" Elena laughed loudly. "No, no, thank you. I don't eat clothes." Sarah laughed too. "That joke is never going away." Elena nodded. "I know, but it's okay. It helps me remember." They left the store, both smiling. Elena looked up at the sky. She had made a funny mistake, but she didn't feel bad anymore. She felt stronger. She had learned something useful. And she had laughed along the way. This was a special day, a day she would always remember, not because it was perfect, but because it was real. It was a moment of learning, laughter, and courage. Elena knew she was getting better, and she was ready for more. Elena and Sarah walked out of the clothing store. Elena was holding her shopping bag. Inside was the red dress, the same dress she had once asked to taste. Now that mistake made her smile. She looked at Sarah and laughed. "I can't believe I said that." Sarah smiled. "I can, and I'm glad you did." Elena took a deep breath. The air felt fresh. She was not scared anymore. Before the shopping trip, she was nervous to speak English. Now she felt different. She was still learning, but she was not afraid. They walked through the mall together. There were many people speaking English. Elena listened. She could understand more now. Not every word, but enough. She was proud of herself. She had made a mistake and she had learned from it. She had used English in a real store. She had paid, asked questions, and made a joke. That was something new for her. They stopped at a small cafe to take a break. Sarah asked, "Do you want something to drink?" "Yes," Elaine said. "I'll have a cappuccino, please." "Good choice," Sarah said and smiled. They stood in line. In front of them was a woman holding a phone. She looked confused. Elena listened carefully. The woman was trying to order coffee, but she didn't know how to say the name. Elena stepped closer and asked gently, "Do you need help?" The woman looked at her and smiled. "Yes, please. I want this one," she said, pointing to the menu. "But I don't know how to say it." Elena looked. "That's called a cappuccino," she said slowly. "You can say, 'I'll have a cappuccino, please.'" The woman repeated the sentence. "I'll have a cappuccino, please." "Perfect," Elena said. The woman thanked her. Sarah watched and looked proud. "Look at you," she said. "You just helped someone." In English. Elena smiled. She felt warm inside. Just yesterday, she needed help. Today, she was helping someone else. She reached into her bag and took out her journal. On a new page, she wrote, "Helping someone is also learning." She added, "I'll have a cappuccino, please." They sat down with their drinks. Elena looked around. She saw people reading, talking, smiling. She thought about her first day in America. She thought about her mistake in the store. And now she was here, relaxed, and speaking without fear. She looked at Sarah and said, "I feel different now." "How?" Sarah asked. "I feel stronger. I feel brave. I know I can speak. Even if I make a mistake, I'll keep trying." "That's the spirit," Sarah said. Elena looked at her coffee and smiled. She thought about the word confidence. It was not about being perfect. It was about trying, learning, and growing. It was about laughing when things go wrong and still moving forward. Before they left the cafe, Elena looked into the mirror near the door. She saw herself, not just a tourist, not just a student. She saw a girl who could speak, a girl who was learning every day. She smiled at her reflection. She whispered, "I don't have to be perfect. I just have to be brave." They walked out of the cafe and back into the mall. The day was almost over, but Elena felt like her journey was just beginning. She had found something very important, not just new clothes, but a new kind of confidence. And from that day forward, she promised herself one thing. She would speak English every day, even if she made mistakes. Because every time she spoke, she became a little stronger. And that was the best gift of all. Elena's story is a simple one, but it is full of meaning. She came to the United States with a dream to travel, explore, and speak English. On her first day, she felt nervous but brave. She wanted to practice speaking English in a real situation. With the help of her friend Sarah, she went shopping and talked to people in English for the first time. At first, everything went well. She asked for a red dress. She answered questions. She used the words she had studied. But then she made a funny mistake. Instead of saying, "Can I try this on?" she said, "Can I taste this on?" Everyone laughed. Elena felt embarrassed, but she didn't run away. She stayed. She laughed too, and more important, she learned. That moment helped her remember the right phrase forever. Later, something amazing happened. Elena helped another person speak English. She gave support and shared what she had learned. That small act showed how far she had come. Elena started as a shy English learner, but she became a brave speaker. She didn't become a perfect. She didn't need to. She became confident. That is the real goal. So, what is the lesson from this story? Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Mistakes are not bad, they are your teachers. When you speak, even if you are not perfect, you are growing. You are learning with every word. You are building confidence step by step. So keep speaking, keep laughing, keep learning. Because your story, just like Elena's, is worth sharing too. Thank you for listening to this story. By listening to the full story, you have already improved your English listening and understanding. You followed Elena's journey, and maybe it felt like your own. Now, here's a fun question for you. What word did Elena say by mistake in the store? A. Try. B. Taste. Comment your answer below with A or B. I'll be checking the comments to see who's been listening closely. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot and gives us the motivation to make more stories and lessons for you. Also, if you want to support us even more, feel free to donate. Creating high-quality content takes time, love, and effort, especially in the beginning. Every little bit helps. Thank you so much, and see you in the next story.